I wanted to explore the notion of emergence and complex adaptive systems using the unified field framework that we've already been exploring over the last couple of months. Now, when I talk about emergence, then as we had explored earlier, there's a bifurcation point that in this output matrix appears here, where this automaticity in emergence discontinues, and there's a notion of will or choice that acts in when we get to human collectivities. And this bifurcation point appears here in the time matrix, and we see it here in the space matrix. And pictorially, until this point of emergence happens, we have a dynamic in which there's a very high level of integration. So what I mean by that is that we have these four forces, or the essence of the nature of light, this codification in light, along the presence, power, knowledge, and harmony dimensions, that's tightly integrated together, and further is bound or creates structures by this action of love or unification. And further, time and space are tightly integrated into this dynamic as well. And so as a result, we have different layers of complex adaptive systems. So taking the examples from here, we have, say, the electromagnetic field, where the functioning we've explored earlier has a four-foldness to it, and the essence of this four-foldness is as per directed by this output, where we have mass, frequency, wavelength, and speed of light, which equate into the characteristics of presence, power, knowledge, and harmony. Similarly, we have the quantum particle architecture, and we see there a similar four-fold division or structure of organization. So we have Higgs boson, leptons, quarks, and bosons that are of the essence of presence, power, knowledge, and harmony. We have similarly a four-foldness to the structure of atoms, where we have atoms that are arranged by the D cell, D shell, S shell, P shell, and F shell, that are of the essence of presence, power, knowledge, and harmony. And we have similarly at the cellular level this fourfold essence that also is divided by four essential molecular plans of proteins, polysaccharides, nucleic acids, and lipids. And we find that these are of the essence again of presence, power, knowledge, and harmony. So we see that there's an automaticity to the emergence at these different layers of matter. And further, each subsequent layer within this structure has the preceding layer implicit in it. So when we talk about, or we look at quantum particles, then already implicit in it is the action of the electromagnetic field. When we look at atoms, implicit in it is the action of quantum particles and the electromagnetic field. When we look at the cells, implicit in it is the action of atoms, quantum particles, and electromagnetic fields. In other words, there's kind of four levels of unification or integration, all organized by the four essential principles and bound by this action of love at the cellular level. And this all happens automatically. So time and space, these four forces are all acting as if one. Now, when we get to this bifurcation point, and at this bifurcation point, what's really very interesting or noticeable is that there's a projection of this automaticity into its essential qualities, and these essential qualities act independently in the projected constructs of the complex adaptive systems, so that emergent phenomena, and here we're talking about human beings and human collectivities and perhaps other kinds of entities that emerge, but then have within them the disaggregated forms of this essential unity. And it's a process of space and time by which this emergence finally reaches this point of unification. So let me illustrate that in a little more depth. So here, what we're saying is that there's the essence of these four, we may call them the knowledge, presence, power, knowledge, harmony. And as we've said earlier, in space, so if we take this as a dimension of space, then there are many, many seeds that are created by two primary sets. So we have the set of M1, which is the set of signatures, and this set essentially has unique elements that would allow these seeds to, over time, become what they are in their fullness. And if we look at what causes these seeds to come into existence, it's the set of M2, which we had explored here and earlier as part of the space matrix. So we have this incredible diversity in a number of seeds that are organized by presence, power, knowledge, and harmony in their essence. That's not observable to us, and it's not because of the process of emergence that we see happening. And then if we look at this process of emergence, so this is a dimension of space that is now disaggregated from here. We have presence, power, knowledge, harmony that multiply into millions of seeds, and that's disaggregated from here. And then similarly, we have kind of this journey through time, and more specifically, there's a characteristic that is pointed to by this matrix here and this matrix here, where we may look at the essence of what happens in time, and we may say that it's of the nature of the physical negative, vital negative, mental negative, integral negative, then moving to physical positive, vital positive, mental positive, integral positive, and then we have the signatures, we have forces, we have impersonality. And so these are different stages, if you will, by which these essential seeds or the journeys begin and then evolve or emerge through these different layers until they reach their fullness as distinguishable elements of presence, power, knowledge, and harmony. So when we see things around us in this incredible complex adaptive systems, what we're actually seeing, this process of emergence is such that there's this incredible disaggregation that has taken place, and the disaggregation is of the nature of this aggregate seed, if you will, where we had these four essences bound together, space and time tightly bound, the action of love circling it, and all of the essential nature of light. And then this, essentially the process of emergence at the human collectivity level, disaggregates. So we have these four independent forces. We have the action of time and space that is now key in how emergence takes place. And we have the key of love, which has to be evoked, or this essential power of integration or unification that in emergence will have to be invoked at some time so that each of these different seeds can reach the fullness for what they stand for. And so we may see, for example, in this process of emergence, and here we're talking about whether it's a country or an economy or a market-based system or any corporation or even simply a team with a few individuals in it, we're looking at potentially some very, very different kinds of complex adaptive systems that emerge along the way. And the key is to really understand what the nature of that complex adaptive system is based on the level that it is in its play in time and its kind of orientation or direction in space. So emergence, to just summarize, we can say is this essential power by which these disaggregated elements that seem to interact and crisscross and direct themselves totally randomly are actually all part of this dynamic by which they seek a much more robust and varied unification through the process of time.